case that got away? Ridiculous. Nonsense. There was a knife in his back and a note on which was written to Sherlock Holmes, 221B Baker Street. Holmes, have you read this article?
Yes.
I think it's insulting.
I think it's true.
True. It says that you may be able to solve the crime, but that you wouldn't be able to prevent it. I suppose that is true.
Morning, Dr. Watson.
Inspector Lestrade, come in, come in.
Thank you. Morning, Holmes.
Hello, Lestrade. How are you?
Never better. Beautiful morning. Just look at it.
Care for some coffee?
Oh, no, thank you, Dr. Watson. You know, a day like this makes me feel awful.
What's wrong?
That's what's wrong.
The article.
The corpse.
And you don't know who it is.
He does know who it is.
How do you know I know who it is?
Do you?
Yes.
How did you know?
An unidentified corpse is annoying, but not distressing. Lestrade is distressed.
I am not.
Yes, you are. You know who the murdered man is.
I know who the killer is.
You do?
Yes.
Well, then what's your problem?
He doesn't know how the killer did it.
Well, the paper says that he was stabbed.
What's the killer's name, Lestrade?
Harry Rigby.
Harry Rigby. He robbed a bank 3 years ago. He's in prison.
He got out yesterday.
You never found the money or his accomplices.
True.
So from the moment he stepped out of jail, your men have been watching him.
15 of them, my best men.
And you're his alibi.
Where's Rigby now, Inspector?
Rooms in Battersea.
And your men are still watching him.
Every second. Holmes, I was wondering if you'd come along and take a look at the place and tell me how Rigby is getting out and back in again without my men seeing him. Would you do that for me, Holmes?
Lestrade, you couldn't keep me away.
Those are his rooms up there. The ones with the curtains drawn. Now, I've got 3 men in this courtyard, 3 men in the street in the front, 3 men at the back, and 2 men on the corridor outside his room.
What time did he turn his lights off last night?
11:35 last night. That's 5 minutes after Rogers was killed 10 miles from here with your name in his hand.
Was there any connection between Rogers and Rigby?
Connection. Rogers was an accomplice in the robbery, although we couldn't prove it.
There were 3 accomplices, weren't there?
And now there are 2.
Each one will get a bigger share of the stolen money.
They'll get nothing because he's going to kill them.
That's impossible.
It's also impossible to get past my men.
The men on the roof, Lestrade?
4 of them.
Well, there must be some obvious, simple explanation. What do you think, Holmes?
Simple, possibly. Obvious? Not yet. Yes.
Message.
Urgent, I see you tonight at 7:30. Please be at home. It's unsigned.
7:30? But we're due at Lady Medwin's for dinner at 8. We can't disappoint her again.
I know. Don't worry, Watson. We'll be there.
On time.
Of course.
We're going to have a wonderful evening at Lady Medwin's. She's got a marvelous cook.
Who is he? Our 7:30 appointment?
Do you know?
No. But he's the second man in 24 hours who's tried to see me and hasn't.
Alfie Simmons.
He's a member of the Rigby gang.
Yeah, just the same as George Rogers last night. Rigby got them both. Everyone knows it. Why don't you arrest him?
We're working on it, Mrs. Bailey.
Mrs. Bailey, how did you come to know the two dead men?
They were friends of my husband. They all worked with Rigby. The police know that.
Where is your husband now?
Doing the first sensible thing in his life. Hiding. Where Rigby can't find him.
I'd like to talk with your husband, Mrs. Bailey.
I don't think he'd be interested, Mr. Holmes. People who try to meet with you seem to have a way of dying. No, I don't think he'd be interested, Mr. Holmes.
Mrs. Bailey, are you afraid to talk to me?
I have a little pub, the Crown, in Allen Street. Any time.
Rigby got out again and then got back again. And my men never saw him. This morning you said the answer was probably simple and obvious.
And you said it wasn't obvious.
No, it's not even simple.
Good evening, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson. What can I do for you?
Mrs. Bailey, I assume you know where your husband is hiding. It's vital that he sees me.
If I knew where he was, and I'm not saying that I do, but if I knew, I wouldn't give him that message. Not only that, if he wanted to see you, I would try and talk him out of it.
It's for his own safety, Mrs. Bailey.
If you're interested in my husband's safety, you arrest Harry Rigby.
The police have no evidence to arrest him.
But he's murdered 2 men already. How many more does he have to kill before you decide there's enough evidence? I don't understand you. It's obvious. Rigby doesn't want to share that bank money, so he's killing off his partners. Yes, my husband was one of them. Everyone knows it. There are 2 dead men and the motive. But that doesn't interest the police. And do you know why? Because all they want to do is get the bank money back. They don't care if my Charlie lives or dies. You tell Scotland Yard to arrest Harry Rigby. And then we'll talk about meeting my husband. Good night, gentlemen.
I can't say I blame her. We may pick up a cab on the corner. I'm not afraid to talk to you, Mr. Holmes. Be back here after midnight. Charles Bailey.
He wasn't the smartest man in the world, Charlie. And he wasn't afraid of no one, except Harry Rigby. He told me so himself. That's why I was hiding. And he would have stayed hiding. If you hadn't come into the picture, the famous Sherlock Holmes. He knew that the police couldn't protect him from Rigby, but he thought the famous Sherlock Holmes could. The famous Sherlock Holmes couldn't, could he?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, I'm sure you're sorry, Mr. Holmes. Are you sorry for Charlie? Or are you sorry for me? Or are you just feeling sorry for the famous Sherlock Holmes? And you, Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
I promise you, Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, you don't have to promise me anything, Inspector Lestrade. I'll promise you something. I'm going to kill Harry Rigby.
Mrs. Bailey, I don't think you mean...
Oh, yes, I mean. I mean to kill him just like I said. I know you've been watching him night and day, and you're going to keep on watching him. But he's too smart for you. And one day you're going to have to stop watching him. And then I'm going to kill him. Or maybe he'll kill me.